Hello gamers, this is Sai, and welcome back to Which Way Games. Now what's one of the greatest sounds in all of gaming?
And with that being said, let's get on with the video. Before I start, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year and hope for the year 2021 will be so much better than the year 2020. It definitely will be. So with that out of the way, it's time to get on with the video.
In the world of gaming, there have been many gaming developers that have come and gone over the years, each releasing games that have either become a part of history or completely forgotten to the sands of time.
But when it comes to a certain game developer responsible for the likes of Mega Man and the Street Fighter series, gamers will agree with me that Capcom can stand tall alongside Nintendo, Sega and even Konami.
You're goddamn right.
Now Capcom have been a staple of gaming ever since the 80s, and from that time of neon lights, big hair and shoulder pads, Capcom have released some fantastic games along the way. So let me take you on a journey through time, having a look at some of the legendary games from Capcom. So with that in mind, let's go back to where it all started.
All the way back in the early 80s, Capcom entered the world of gaming with its arcade classic Vulgus, a top-down shooting game where gamers would travel the cosmos while blowing up enemies with lasers.
Some could say that the early 80s was the era of space shooting games, which are popular even now, especially for fans of the legendary Axley.
Eventually though, Capcom would start to make games for the NES, the Super Nintendo, the Mega Drive, as well as the endearing Master System, with ports of some arcade classics such as 1942, Ghosts and Goblins, Bionic Commando, and the legendary Strider. Gamers were stunned that the world of the arcade had found its way into their homes, taking up residence under the TV, and creating gaming memories that will be looked back on with fondness.
Now some of these games were impressive for the time, and like most gaming developers, Capcom had this fantastic idea. Basically, with each release, it was essentially a box full of gaming fun, which I suppose is a great way of looking at the world of gaming.
Capcom seemed to be on the right track when it came to making some fantastic games. But the arcade is where Capcom truly shined, with classics such as Final Fight, Forgotten Worlds and Dynasty Wars.
However, in the early 90s, Capcom had that Midas touch with fighting games, RPGs and side-scrolling beat-em-ups.
Games such as Cadillac and Dinosaurs, the Breath of Fire series and the legendary Street Fighter II had gamers besotted with the world of digital fun. Capcom Games had that distinct style which gamers instantly recognised, especially with the amazing Captain Commando.
And speaking of Captain Commando, he was the original poster boy for Capcom before the blue bomber known as Mega Man took the mantle.
Now Mega Man was such a massive hit with gamers that they couldn't get enough of the adventures starring the blue bomber, with Mega Man 2 being regarded as one of the best in the series, especially with that fantastic soundtrack.
Fighting games, side-scrolling beat-em-ups and even platformers was the playground for Capcom, but eventually the world of gaming introduced a whole new genre of gameplay.
Now the world of horror games started a massive craze with gamers.
This horror survival genre of gaming introduced gamers to some classics such as Dino Crisis, as well as inspiring other gaming developers to follow the same style of gameplay.
Capcom would continue with this horror survival theme, but would always return to the gaming series that put them on the map. This of course was Street Fighter 2, and as more Street Fighter games were released, these would add new characters and essentially create a universe within the Street Fighter mythology.
The Street Fighter games are classics from the arcade, and remembering now, when the animated movie came out, my friends and I found out that we actually mispronounced the main character's name. It wasn't Ryu, it was Ryu.
Well, Ryu. I was looking for you.
And for me, the definitive version of the Street Fighter 2 series is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. But which character is the best one to use?
As gaming technology progressed, the world of gaming was changing once again, and Capcom were there ready to deliver some amazing games. Games such as Beautiful Joe, Power Stone, and the fantastic Monster Hunter, allowing gamers to hunt down some truly bizarre as well as terrifying monsters in the fantasy world.
Can these gamers find the lair of the Hydra, overcome the challenges of a fire-breathing dragon, or come face to face with the most evil creature ever created?
And even showcasing how far the world of gaming has come since its beginnings, with some truly beautiful looking games.
Even the original Resident Evil got a fresh coat of paint for the GameCube, and Capcom being Capcom decided to take what was great from Resident Evil, wrap it in Japanese mythology, and release the legendary Onimusha to the world of gaming.
Onimusha played very similar to the Resident Evil series, but this time gamers were in control of Samanosuke, a skilled Japanese swordsman who must save Japan from a supernatural threat. A brilliant game full of action, the supernatural, and some memorable gameplay.
Now, Onimusha 2 is one of my favourites of the series, with a great story and some fantastic characters surrounding Jubei. But it does make me wonder, is this the same Jubei from the Ninja Scroll series?
Sticking with the themes of the supernatural and horror, Capcom continued to listen to gamers' demands for wanting more. But then gamers were blessed with the legendary Devil May Cry series.
The Devil May Cry series are full of action, with gamers controlling Dante as he goes on an adventure through the world of demons and beyond. Another great gaming franchise from Capcom is the Dead Rising series, and I remember playing the very first one many years ago. I was having fun exploring the mall when I got caught short in a music shop. This shopping centre is dead. Oh excellent, AC/DC, huh? Where's a weapon when you need one? Oh, this'll have to do. Yeah, remind me never to get stuck in that situation again, having music CDs as weapons.
Eventually gamers grew older but still loved the fighting games of the past, as well as the horror survival games that Capcom were known to make. And although some of these gamers were still happy, there were other games that demanded more, and so Capcom delivered the amazing Okami. Okami has gamers controlling Amaterasu in an open world adventure that's visually stunning with a compelling story.
Okami is a beautiful looking game that has comparisons with the Legend of Zelda series, definitely one I'll come back to.
Capcom would eventually return to some of their biggest franchises, with remakes of the Resident Evil games for example. They would also dip their toes into the world of anime, with the underrated Asura's Wrath.
Asura's Wrath was like playing an interactive anime series, with over-the-top characters and several styles of gameplay. Now there is one fantastic gaming series that brings the world of crossovers to a whole new level, and this is the legendary Marvel vs. Capcom.
I get the cover of the next Street Fighter for this, right Capcom? Right?
Overall, the games made by Capcom each have their own unique styles of gameplay, with massive franchises such as Resident Evil, Monster Hunter and Ace Attorney still going strong. It's no wonder Capcom have been around for as long as they have. Hopefully in time, Capcom will return to some of its overlooked gaming series, and bring them into the future with either a remake or even a long-awaited sequel. Either way, the games from Capcom will still continue to inspire gamers to go on that epic journey through the digital world, or even entice non-gamers to pick up the controller.
Anyway, come back next time where I take a look at the Wonder Boy series and the many adventures found within this world of monsters. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next game.